WWE 2K26 is bringing stacked tables, thumbtacks, returning match types, different features, new things, and for some it's still not enough, and I can understand their frustration. WWE 2K26, it is really exciting to me because I am a gameplay guy. As much as I love graphics, I love gameplay, and thus far the gameplay that they're showing and that they're teasing, it really has me excited because I've been hoping for a really fun game, something that sort of emulates a little bit of the past for me, and that trailer that they dropped really got me excited. Thumbtacks, all that good stuff. It's really cool. But one thing that was on the website that a lot of people have not paid much mind to is that 2K talked about bringing in an expansion of crowd fighting. And if you guys read this here, to continue getting updates on WWE 2K26, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe because we are on our way to 25,000 subscribers. Let's go on ahead and get back into it. It says WWE 2K26 cranks up the action with a full lineup of gameplay upgrades with all new features like reversal revamp, expanded crowd combat, which is very, very interesting because I've already heard that there's going to be different things that you could do in the crowd and grab from the crowd to use it as a weapon or use it to your advantage. Now that's, to me, is exciting because I feel that crowd fighting has been kind of just been at the same point for the last couple of years. So if we are able to actually go through the crowd and fight and actually involve the crowd and make it a little bit more immersive in game, I think that would be a huge win for those crazy DQ matches that you want to do, especially with all these gimmick matches that we're getting that I will definitely get into. So there's a lot of positive to go around with this game, but again, there's also the other hand where you talk about what are the negatives, and we're going to get into that soon. 2K26 bringing back thumbtacks is huge for the game. This has been a highly requested weapon for a very long time, and I am so glad that it is in the game because honestly, aside from AEW Fight Forever, I don't think I've ever played with thumbtacks in a wrestling game, and AEW Fight Forever gave me that taste that I was like, man, I hope 2K does this because unfortunately, AEW Fight Forever wasn't the game that we all wanted it to be. WWE 2K has actually taken a lot of features that we've seen in the AEW Fight Forever game, and that's always a plus because we're getting things that we only thought we'd see in AEW Fight Forever, so it's a huge win for us. Barricade fighting, they took that to a completely different level. You could do high-flying moves and do different things from there, but now you are able to fight up there with another wrestler, do moves off there. I mean, that feature alone is going to be really, really cool in Extreme Rules matches, and I think that's going to be exciting, especially if you have a table or something around there that you can make that move in that spot happen. Like, there's a lot of things, man, that from a gameplay perspective really does make me excited. Weapon physics is something that was heavily teased in that trailer, especially when you saw Rhea Ripley Riptide China from the turnbuckle onto the steel steps, and that looked really, really awesome. Some may argue that we've seen something similar to this in 25, but you're lying to yourself if you're saying that it was consistent. This is something that seems like it is going to be a focal point this year, and not only with steel steps, we've heard with weapons all across the wheel, we are going to be seeing those ragdoll and weapon physics really engage with a lot of the environment and these weapons, so I think that's going to be an exciting part as well, and that's going to make the gameplay feel different in the end. That's what we all want at the end of the day, aside from visuals and graphics. But those are just some positive things, right? And that's not all the positive, and I'm not going to talk about all the negative, but these are some key points for me because a lot of the negatives that people are talking about is how the game hasn't visually improved since 22. And nonetheless, the game doesn't look bad. That's not the problem. The problem is hair physics. They just don't move as smooth as they should in a 2026 game. And yes, we left Last Generation behind, and some people are saying, why did we leave Last Generation behind if we are still getting a very similar visual game? They've already mentioned that there are some features that are coming into the game with 2K26 that they weren't able to do because of last gen, such as picture-in-picture for the Royal Rumbles. Things like that, little details like that is probably what we're going to end up seeing this upcoming year. Waiting for the rollout and everything, I've mentioned many times that we did need some sort of refresh with the atmosphere and the graphics. And unfortunately, that's something that it seems like we did not get, but again, we can still see minor improvements, especially with this AJ Styles screenshot. He looks a little bit different. You can see the detail in his model, but hair is still clipping, right? And championships and the CM Punk entrance still looks very, just not as good as it could look and what we know that it could look like, right? Now, there was, a very small step up on the championships. We have side plates. The championships look a little bit better, but they don't look as good as they should. And that's why I understand people's frustration with the game and it visually looking very, very similar to the last couple years. I felt like this was going to be a problem leading up to it if it did look very, very similar, because again, people are getting tired of seeing something that looks similar, even if it plays different, because I will agree that a lot of the features that they've added are simply great for the game and it has helped the game grow. But a lot of people buy these games for the shiny new graphics and what's new, what's different, aside from just gameplay. So I get that part of the audience feeling the way that they do. And one negative that I wanted to pick up on and speak on about the trailer is that we've seen the dumpster match, y'all. And the dumpster match, just even looking at a little bit of that trailer, it looks like to me like it's going to be sort of a casket match, just the casket is going to be switched for a dumpster, and I just couldn't get behind this just yet, right? Now, we don't know the full details. We haven't seen this match in play just yet, but we see that it has a very similar casket closing finish, and we also see that it has a very similar animation when you throw someone in a casket in the dumpster. Now, don't get me wrong, the gimmick is nice, but will I realistically play it? I don't know. Again, you need to be able to move this dumpster around. You need to be able to add those key details that make this match that much different from the casket match. And those are just my 2 cents when looking at what this dumpster match looks like in 2K. And I think that it can improve. I think this is a good start. But again, we haven't seen much more, right? We've only seen those 2 pieces that were in the trailer, so I could be completely wrong. And that's that. But just my first impression on what I've seen, that's the only thing that's throwing me off. And I do feel that if you were able to do something that much different, as I'm saying, with moving it around, why not show that instead in the trailer, you know? So I'm trying my best to stay optimistic for these parts and these certain things. But again, I'm not sure how that dumpster match is going to work. And lastly, the ringside pass. We still don't got the breakdown. We still don't got the necessary information to make, you know, a opinion on it, right? And some people are worried because they feel that they shouldn't be grinding for it if they already paid for it. And if you guys don't get the idea just yet, DLC is over. And that's one thing that you guys are probably going to have to learn to adapt to, because I don't think that is coming back. It is very clearly a different formula, something different than what we're used to. And that's that. I find it very, very hard that the company will pivot and switch back. I'm not saying this year, but in 2K27, I think this is something that is now going to happen. Whether we can buy level skips or do anything like that, that will be a completely different thing for another day. We don't know that, but what we do know is that we are getting 4 new playable superstars, and some people don't know how to feel about it. Usually it's 5, but this time it is 6 times 4 because there's 6 packs, 4 wrestlers, and some people don't know how to feel about it because they don't know what to expect from this battle pass, ringside pass, whatever you're calling it. And I completely understand that. WWE 2K26 really needs to find a way to nail this with the right rewards and making it feel worth it for people. And I really, really need that breakdown, because without that breakdown, a lot of people are not making their opinions or decisions on whether they want to get the Monday Night Wars edition or not. And I completely understand that point, right? Because at the end of the day, we all want to know what we're getting and if it's going to be worth it or not. But keep in mind, there are 100 tiers. We're probably going to get some attire, some cosmetics, some My Faction Persona cards. We're probably going to get a ton of stuff within those 100 levels. Again, it just comes down to the point where, is it going to be worth it? And that's what everybody needs to kind of be worried about at this very moment. Is it going to be worth it? And I think that's going to be the part that we all need to be paying attention to. And again, a lot of the positives to me this year so far, they outweigh some of these negatives, right? The ringside pass, that might be the biggest deal breaker for lots of consumers. But aside from that, graphically, as much as I want to see the push, I also like to see the gameplay getting the push as well. But I think it's time that both things get the push. I hate to talk about next year, but I think that at this point, knowing that we're not getting the graphical leap that everybody wants, including myself, I think that it's okay to expect that for 27, maybe even talk about it a little bit. But I think we're going to get that in 27. And again, hopefully the gameplay continues getting better as well, because sometimes it feels that certain areas really improve, but certain areas don't get the same love. And that's, I guess, the main part and just the culprit as to why some people on social media, or even people that are in my comment section and other creators' comment section, may be feeling the way that they do about WWE 2K26. Nonetheless, though, y'all, I'm super excited. Again, the positives to me so far are very, very good. Weapon physics, thumbtacks, crowd fighting, universe mode, which we will be talking about soon. There's a lot of good things that come to mind when talking about WWE 2K26, but also it's okay to acknowledge other frustrations, and I think that it's okay for others not to feel the same way that I may feel or somebody else may feel about the game. So that's the reason why we make these videos, talk about everybody's thoughts. It's not only me here, folks. Thank you guys for watching the video. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. Make sure to stay tuned for the next one. I'm gonna catch y'all. Peace.